Welcome in the sewing room. I'm so glad y'all are here. Should turn on my backlight, shouldn't I? There we go. The other light's not even on either. We're up here in almost the dark. I'll have to turn it on in a few minutes because it will get dark. But for now, we'll save a little bit of electricity. Power bills are high enough, aren't they? Look at my bowl. Isn't this the cutest bowl? It's a big bowl. It's a great big bowl. I put some candy in it. Some leftover Halloween candy. We never have trick-or-treaters. But anyway, anywho, as they say, this is made with fabric and batting. It has no rope in it. No rope. This is a no rope bowl. This is a honey bun bowl. A honey bun bowl. So I'm going to show y'all how to do that. It's time consuming, but they are so well worth it. I've been addicted to making rope bowls for a year now. They're just so much fun, so quick, so easy. And if you're looking for something very quick, yes, the rope is the way to go. But if you've got a little extra time, this is the way to go. This is the way to go right here. I love the way these turn out. I do. So we've got, first off, I cut 100% cotton batting into strips, 1 1/4 inch wide. Okay. I cut my fabric. If you buy a honey bun that is pre-cut, like your jelly rolls, you don't have to cut these, but you can cut these. It's not hard. It's easy peasy. 1.5 inches. Okay. 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. That's all you need. You need 2 things. And I've got these cut too, so I can do 2. 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. Okay, that's what you need. All right, so go grab your fabric, get it cut, come back, and let's get started. All right, there's one thing you need to remember when you're making this, okay? You have to attach your strips together. If you are using if you're using a pre-cut honey bun, they come in an array. It's like a jelly roll. You know, when you buy a jelly roll, your pre-cuts, you get like 20 fabrics, 2 of each, something like that, 40, 42, 2.5 inch wide strips. Same thing with your honey bun, but they're 1.5 inch wide strips, okay? So with that being said, you can, and they usually are all coordinating fabrics. From one group of fabric, they come coordinating. But you have to attach them together because you need them to all be one great big long piece, okay? And depending on the size of bowl you want to make, and I don't have measurements for this, you all know I just fly by the seat of my pants and go, okay, I believe that's about as big as I want it on the bottom. I'm going to turn it and go up with it. And that's about as far up as I want to go, and I stop. I don't normally measure things out. My placemats, I've measured. My coasters, I've measured because I want them all to be uniform. My bowls, my baskets, that kind of thing, I don't. I just make it. And that's just how big it is. So with that being said, you need to decide about how much you need. This one right here is it's a pretty good size bowl. Let's measure it. If I can find a tape measure. I should have one right here. This bowl measures across the top 10 inches across. Should be 10 inches this way. Should be. It is 10 inches across the top. And it is about 6.5, I think. About 6.25 inches tall. And across the base, it is about 9 inches. So it comes out about 2 inches from from the very bottom of the base, it slants out, adds about 2 inches across the top. It's about 6¼ inches high. This was 50 feet, okay? Because I measured this. I know how much I cut. This was right at 50 feet, okay? So that will make this size bowl, which that's a big bowl. So if you wanted something smaller, you don't need near that much. But just so that you know, this was 50 feet, okay? And I did that because I'm accustomed to using 50 feet on a roll of rope or a hank of rope. And I kind of know what that will make. This is thicker. When you get finished with it, it's bigger than your 1/4 inch rope that we're used to using. Okay, now then we have to join our strips. And we need to cut our selvages off. And when you join your strips, you need to sew them right sides together. And you need to lay them like this. Okay, then you need to sew. And y'all down here, bring you up here, turn you down. You need to sew from this corner to this corner diagonally, right like that. Cut this away, and then it will open up, and you will have a diagonal seam. The reason you want a diagonal seam is if you sew them this way, then all this seam is right together. When you start to turn it, and you'll see what I mean in a minute, it makes it harder to do. So you want these at a diagonal. These strips, you do not need to sew together at all. You just need these strips, but you do not need to sew these. So that's a plus. So I've got these and I've got these. I'm going to go sew these together diagonally. I'll bring y'all over here and do a couple with you so you can see what I'm talking about. And then I'll bring you back and we'll get ready and get to our next step. All right here we go. I've got them laying like this at a 45-degree angle. This one's laying this direction. Let me bring y'all up just a little bit higher and turn you down. Maybe you can see a little bit better right here. Okay, lay this one this way and lay this one completely at a 45-degree angle, just like this. Okay, right like that. And then you want to sew from this point to this point, here to here. If you sew it this way, it will only turn this portion. Okay, so you want to be sure that you're sewing this direction. Okay. And I've just got a 1/4 inch seam foot here on my machine. It doesn't really matter what you're using at this point. Just an all-purpose foot will work fine. And then just back stitch when you start and you stop. And trim that away, just like that. And you see how that turns? Right like that. And then you just go on to the next one. Find this end, lay it like this. Find this end, lay it like this. And sew, just like this, corner to corner. And you want to sew all of your strips together. Cut you about a 1/4 inch seam there. And that's what you've got, okay? So I'm going to sew all my strips together, and then I'll come back and show you our next step. All right, now then, for our next step, here's our thing. I've got it rolled up. I rolled each one of them up because you need to have it contained somehow. Roll it in a ball, roll it in a swirl, but you need it contained and untangled, okay? However that works for you is what you need to do. All right, now then, I have got one. Get this untangled because it will get tangled. Trust me, they will tangle easily. You need to, right here, start laying it together. This is our batting strips, 1 1/4 with our fabric strip, which is 1½ inches, okay? Now then, I use this right here. This is the number 18, the light pink one. This is the one that if you ordered the same ones that I have, this is the one that I use. These are bias tape makers or whatever y'all want to call them. This one's got something stuck in it right there. Some threads. I'm trying to get them out. Okay, I think I got them out. And to get it started through here, because we need to get it through this, it's got to come through here, and it's got this right here. See that little opening? You can grab a hold of it and pull it through. That's what this is for. But to make it go through more smoothly, you want to cut it to start with into a point right here, just like this, into a point. See that? Then you want to turn it like this and start pushing it through. Both of them together, okay? Turn it over and grab them and pull them through. See that? See how easy that went through there? You've got another one in there that also says 18 on the bottom, but it doesn't work as well. It's not as thick right through here. So you want to pull this through, and you can see it folds it in on each side, just like if you're making a binding. Okay, hope y'all can see that right here. And you want to press that just the least little bit, ever so slightly, about, a few inches. Come in here, grab you a couple of clips, just like this, and clip it. That is all I'm going to do right here, because as you pull this through, you're going to start sewing this together. And I'm going to take y'all back over to the machine and show you what we do next. All right, I'm using a 1/4-inch seam foot. It really doesn't matter what foot you use, but you want one that's going to hold this down as you turn it together right here. You don't want an open-toed foot. You want one that comes in really close, okay? And you're just going to start straight stitching this together, just like this. I apologize for the lighting, but as you pull it, you turn it, and you stitch it. Just like that. And you want to put your batting on one side of you and your fabric on the other. You can put them in baskets, you can hold them on your lap, you can put them up here each side, whatever. But as you pull it through, you want to line this up just like that and pull it through evenly. And as you do that, it just kind of folds on itself, and you just stitch it together. This is the part that takes the longest, but turn you on something on TV or the computer, turn me on YouTube on other videos. Watch me as you sew this and have fun with it. And when you get it all sewn up, well, I'll bring you back and show you how to add your next strip of batting, okay? Okay, now we're to this point right here. You see I've got just a little bit of this right here left. I'm gonna lay this slightly, very slightly, about 1/4 inch underneath that, okay? Just lay them together and keep going. And they will go through there together. Just like this. When it gets down through there to the end, it gets a little bit tight, but just pull it and it comes right through. And you can cut these on the diagonal if you want to. Matter of fact, it might be better if you cut them on the angle, and that way the whole thing would not be going through at one time. But I've not had a problem doing it this way because it's just a tiny little bit. And just keep pulling it and folding it as you go. And I'm sewing right along the edge of this. See, right along this edge, right down through there. And I'm just letting it go back here, and I'll roll it up into a ball when I'm all finished, okay? So I'm going to turn me on something nice on the television and get to sewing and get both of these pieces sewn up so we'll be ready to make our bowls or baskets. Okay, now then, we've got all of this. Look at this. I've got tons of this color, and it's just made like a little rope. See that? It's just like a little rope. And then I've got this one. It's just like a little rope. Got some excess here. Let me cut this off because we don't need all this extra here. Batting. It's just extra batting that was left on the end. Now then, I saw someone else do this when they were making a rope bowl, and I thought that is just an ingenious foot to use. And I had never even thought about it. This is what they call a stitch in the ditch foot. Do you see this right here? I hope y'all can see this. This metal piece right here comes down and over, and it comes out through here at the bottom. See that? How that comes through at the bottom at the center? And you've got a wide opening right here. See this wide opening? So you can zigzag. And if you keep this centered between the two pieces that you're zigzagging together, your zigzag is even on both sides. I know, a light bulb went off, and I was like, oh my word, that is just an ingenious thing to use. And yes, 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 that's what we're going to use. But first off, I'm going to get these two separated into two little batches. This one is smaller, so I think it'll be the one that we sew up here first. And I'm going to show you all how I do that. You can roll this into a ball if you want to make it up. I don't know why my lights do that sometimes. I have no idea. But if you want to make this up, just make up several pieces at one time, then you can do that. Just clipping some threads here at the moment. You can and roll it into a ball just like rope. It's just in a ball. All right, now I'm going to start this the very same way that I do my rope bowls. I'm just going to start rolling it in on itself. Okay. And I want this piece to be the outside. All right. So I'm just going to start rolling it in on itself. And then I'm going to put a pin in it in the middle. I'll roll it around here several times. I get a start about like that. Okay. I'm going to put a pin right straight through every bit of this. Just all the way through till it comes out the other side. Just like that. There's my pin. And that's going to hold that together while I sew it this way, this way, this way, and this way. Just make like little pie wedges in here. But get all that sewn together good. And I'm just using a straight stitch for this. Actually, I'm going to change this foot back because right now that will be a hindrance to me, not a help. And I'm just going to put on just a regular foot. All right, this is just a regular foot. And like I said, I'm just using a straight stitch. And I'm going to stitch this several times back and forth. I'm going to come over here beside my pin to start with. And this is thick, you all. And it stopped because it's so thick. Okay, and you want to go slow. And then I'm going to back up. Then I'm going to pull that pin out. I'm going to continue to hold it. And I'm going to come back to the center. Stop right there in the center. Turn it 90 degrees and continue forward. And my needle may be slightly bent at this point. I think it is, so I'm going to go ahead and change it out. And then you want to use a large size needle. 14 16 or 18 when you're sewing something this thick. Okay, these are 14s. I do not have a 16 or an 18, or I would put that in here. All right, so let me get this done, and I'll be right back with you. I'm going to come back to the center, and I'm going to turn it again. You just see, there it goes. You have to go so incredibly slow. And I just changed that needle, and it stitched just fine. But I think that'll hold. So I'm going to change it one more time, and then we'll start our zigzags, okay? Okay, now then, I don't know if y'all can see, but I've sewn it once, twice, and 3 times. So I've got like 6 little pie pieces around here. So that's held pretty well. I hope you all can see all that, those stitches in there. So now I've put on my stitch in the ditch foot. It's got this big piece right here. You want to make sure that your tail is coming off on the right hand, or the inside of your sewing machine right here. That's crucial, because if it's coming off on this side, when you get to here, you can't make your base any bigger than whatever this right here is. That's as big as it can be. And you can't make it tall because it won't go around this part of your machine. So you want to make sure that your tail is going off on the right-hand side, okay? And you want to lay that tail right here, and you want your stitch in the ditch foot, the bar that's coming down in the middle, to be right between these two. And I have mine set on a 2.2 stitch length. That's how far apart my zigzags are. I've got it set on a 6.6 wide. That's how far it's going from this piece to this piece and back and forth. All right. And this will eventually just lay down right like this and stitch. Well, it'll help if I turn it on a zigzag, won't it? All right, now then, we can start zigzagging. And you'll want to stop and rotate this in the very beginning, because you've got such a tiny little circle in the beginning, your stitches will not rotate it for you. So just keep coiling in it. Just keep it coiling, okay? And I'm just cutting these extra threads off so that it will. And as you get on around here, you will lengthen out your stitch to where you don't have as many stitches. And it will just start sewing and just do beautifully. All right, now I'm going to lengthen out my stitch length to a 3 and keep going. And do you see how this is staying right in the middle? And I'm stitching equal on both sides. Y'all, it's just ingenious. I don't know who decided that that would be a good foot to use, but they were so smart. And you just want to keep going until you make the base as big as you want it. I'm going to clip some of these extra little strings here. They're from something, I don't know what, but I'm clipping them as I go. All right. And you don't want to pull on this, because when you pull on it, it stretches it and then it becomes a mess. You just want to left it, just kind of hold it in there and just kind of guide this with your hand. You want to kind of keep it untwisted so that your stitches all are about the same place. And as y'all can see, it pretty much feeds itself and sews itself. You don't have to do any feeding or anything. It just kind of goes. You just kind of need to guide it and make sure this doesn't get way out there, and just kind of, keep it up here and keep this one kind of right there. Just guide it and it just keeps going. And you just keep sewing and sewing and sewing and sewing and sewing. Okay, I'm about back to where my very beginning coil was. So here's where I'm going to start shaping my bowl. Now, if you want it to shape gradually, you pull it up gradually, just like this. If you want it to shape harsh and go straight up the sides, which is what I prefer, you flip it straight up just like this and hold it. Okay, see if I can move y'all over here so you can see a little bit better. Because once I start holding that up, you won't be able to see it as well. Okay, now then, I think you all will be able to see. Just hold it up, leave your foot right where it was, and just keep sewing. Okay, I've got my rope wrapped around my chair leg. That's not a good thing. All right, now then, let's keep going. This is going to be a shallow bowl because I made the bottom bigger than I normally would. This is wanting to twist on me. We're coming to the end here, so I'm just going to lay this over right like that. And there you go. A beautiful, big, shallow bowl. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Be pretty on the center of your table with some greenery and maybe a candlestick or something in the center. Use it for any number of things. Beautiful, beautiful. Now let's make this one. This is real time. I'm not speeding this up or anything. This is all real time sewing here. So once you get your strips made, they sew together very, very quickly. Very quickly. It's just a matter of getting your strips together. So, all right, let's put us a pin in the center. Swap out our foot again. Always double check your bobbin thread. Make sure you've got plenty of bobbin thread because you don't want to run out of bobbin thread halfway through your bowl or basket or whatever it is you're making. And like I said, you want to go very slowly through this. Okay, after much ado and me getting the machine cleaned, I decided to clean out the bobbin case and do a lot of other things in the meantime besides just change that needle. I got the center of it stitched. I'm going to turn back on a zigzag stitch at a 6.6 and a length of 2.2. And I'm going to go very slowly. Especially around this beginning part. And then we will speed up as we continue on around. And for most of mine, I just use a plain white or off-white thread. If you want to match your thread to your fabric, feel free to do so. I'd use just a plain clear almost bobbin thread so that the outside of my bowl, you really do not see the stitches at all, hardly. As we're coming back around to where it started to lay down, I'm going to lengthen out my stitch length to a 3. Turn the speed up just a little bit. Now then, I'm going to lengthen out my stitch to a 3.8. And it's on 6.6, so we are good to go until we get finished. Oops. Totally and completely what came out of that one, didn't I? So I'm just going to back up. That's what I do. You just back up. Start again. I had to stop and untangle my rope out under my chair. And just like that, you've made another big bowl. This one is great big. That would be so pretty to set a plant in, would it not? Be a beautiful cover for a plant. It would be so pretty to set a plant in it. If you like to give plants, I'm gonna turn y'all up so you can see me now. If you like to give plants at Christmas, like poinsettias and things, you could make these out of pretty Christmas fabrics, and then they'd have the bowl to keep for years. And they would have their plant for their table or whatever. Wouldn't that be pretty? Oh, yes, it would be beautiful. I think I'll do some of those for Christmas gifts. I do. I think that's what I'll do for Christmas gifts. That just hit me. It did. I've got plans to make a ginormous one. Okay, so y'all will have to come back and we'll make that in the next few weeks because I want to make a great big one. But look at all these. Look at all of our little bowls. Look. And then here's this one. Look at them. I love them. Love, 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 love them. They are so pretty. They're sturdy. And you know, they're nice and I gotta go back and catch that right across there. I missed a little spot right there. I'll have to go back and catch that. Because I was flying 90 miles an hour. It didn't take any time at all to sew this up. So what you need to do is get your strips all cut and sit down and make all of your rope at one time. Make it all in one great big long rope. Make it in smaller sections, whatever you think would work best for you. And then doesn't take 5 or 10 minutes to sew it up. So I'm tickled with mine. Some of these, maybe all of these, will show up at the craft fair, bazaar, whatever y'all want to call it, Christmas thing. Shop local this Saturday after Thanksgiving in Elizabethton. I will be there. I'm looking forward to seeing some of you all. If you're local to me and can come out and support me, and I don't know who else, but there's going to be more of us there. We greatly appreciate it. I know I do, and I'm sure they do as well. So I look forward to seeing you all there, and I hope y'all enjoyed this. I love these. I do. I love the rope ones, but I like these too. I mean, they're just all so pretty. I love them all. I just love all of them. So y'all take care. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to hype. Hit that hype button. It really does help you all. It helps a lot. Really does. So hit that hype button. Hit the thumbs up button. That helps too. Leave comments helps. And of course, watch all the way to the end. That really helps. I love you all. I hope you've had a wonderful day and have a blessed rest of your day, evening, night, whatever time of day it is. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.